Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
So we're not selling seats, we are selling experience. So I hope you enjoy the flight and hope you support SkyJet Vision to convert all the destinations that was not really developed yet as a tourist spot, and we developed it entirely new as a tourist destination. Thank you and welcome to SkyJet.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I am your host, Buddy Kunanan. On this show, we talk about everything under the sun. And on this show, we're talking about one of my favorite topics and advocacies is tourism. And it's going to be a special discussion, folks, because tonight we're going to introduce you to Batanes, that beautiful spot at the tip of the Philippines where most people, including myself, dream of going. And we're going to talk about SkyJet, the newest airline on the block, which is run and managed by its very dynamic, very inspiring, and very idealistic CEO and president, Dr. Joel Mendoza. And so to kick off this, the program, let's introduce Dr. Mendoza. Joel, welcome to Philippines Uncut.
Well, thank you, and having invited here in your show, Philippine Cut, it's really an honor for me to be able to guest in your show and show and explain the advocacy of SkyJet and how we think that will uplift the lives of Filipinos in one province at a time.
But thank you so much for coming to the show. I know you're very busy. You're managing, you're running an airline. You're managing a dental practice with multiple branches and all these things. And I'm really happy that you're here because your story, everything about SkyJet, is so inspirational. And this is something I really want to share with viewers. It's a very uplifting story about how anything is possible when your heart is in the right place. No? So let's talk about your background. Tell us a bit about who is Dr. Joel Mendoza.
Well, I'm a simple person, like everyone else. I went to school, studied hard, saved money. Practically, I'm a dentist by profession. So
okay.
And I went to, at the early age, after I finished my graduate degree here in the Philippines, I've saved some money, and I ventured and went to the States, and I worked a little bit as a, like a dental apprentice, and then I got accepted to New York University, and I pursued my career as a oral surgeon, cosmetic. I stayed there for 7 years, and I decided to come back and start practicing, and maybe I can share my knowledge, my newfound knowledge, to the other dentists or the other students in the Philippines. But all this time, I was just working really hard. I had several clinics, very successful practice. I mean, I'm very lucky. But in love life, I was not lucky. So I was very, I was single for a very long time. So there were one time I was thinking of just being a bachelor for life. But then until one day, somebody invited me for just going out with some friends, and I really don't like blind dates. I never like that. So anyway, so I agreed to a group date, and I met a girl. His name Rosan. Is from Batanes. You know, I was not familiar with Batanes. I thought it's Batangas. So like most people, I think on the younger generations now, I think we don't really know the Philippines so much.
Yes.
So anyway, so things went well, and I really fell in love with this simple person because her personality. And then I asked her, I want to ask your hand in marriage, and I want to meet your family. So she said yes, and so I said, do we take the boat going to Batanes? So I was so naive. So anyways, you have to take a flight.
Yeah.
So
that is really your first introduction.
Yes, that's
to
first
Batanes.
introduction for Batanes. And I think when I landed in Batanes and married my wife, I think I married the island. And marrying the island, marrying the people, then made me realize that the Philippines is really something to fight for in terms of culture, in terms of how to reintroduce the whole Philippine Islands to the community, to the local community.
Yes.
I'm not even talking about the international market.
Even just people like you and me. I
Like
mean,
me.
like Filipinos,
I mean,
ordinary Filipinos.
You just have to rediscover things. There's a lot of beautiful things in the Philippines, knowing that we have 7,107 islands. And I know we have a lot of people that needs work, needs a lot of jobs.
Yes.
So anyways, marrying and meeting my wife turned my life around like 180 degrees.
Were you already with Skyjet? Was Skyjet born already at the time? No. So
No,
you're still
there was
a successful
practicing
dentist. Okay.
And I didn't know. I said to my wife, hey, let's do something for our relatives here. Because they're all relatives in Batanes. So why don't we put up a travel agency? So I have no clue about travel agency. I don't know about ticketing or anything. But I know there's a way to market your culture, our culture. I'm ready from there, Ivatan. So sabi ko,
what do you call someone from Batanes?
Ivatan.
Ivatan, all right.
Yeah.
Ivatan. Okay, got it. All right.
So I consider myself Ivatan because I married someone. So I'm proud to be there.
Okay.
But I think during the 2005, 2006, we don't really talk about Batanes.
Sure.
It's
off the
off the
Batanes
radar.
is off the radar, no?
Nobody know, right?
But people, it's off the radar, but it's in the back of people's heads. Like Batanes, it's like I said during my opening spiel, it's a place that everyone wants to go or has been wanting to go to, but doesn't seem to know how.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, as you said, your first encounter, you didn't know whether to take a boat or do you just want to fly there, take a boat there. Do you drive to Batanes?
Yeah.
Right? So there you go.
The first impression that I was trying to sell Batanes is so hard. I was selling it to my relatives. Hey, you gotta go to Batanes. I said, I don't like it there. The typhoon belt. I mean, where I'm gonna be picked up in South China Sea or something. It's really hard to sell that time, in 2005.
Wait, before we go to Batanes, let's talk about first your involvement in an airline. Now, how did you segue from a successful dental practice to running an airline?
Well, first of all, aviation is my passion. I love planes. I see planes like a beautiful girl. I love every parts of the plane. I know every detail of the plane. It doesn't matter what brand it is. It's just
You've always loved aviation, even as a child, as a young person.
Yes, I love aviation.
Okay.
You have to have a passion, drive for it. I don't consider airline now. At the beginning, I didn't think of airline as a business. I was thinking about, even now, I think airline is a tool. I use the airline as a tool for me to be able to do what I really wanted to do for the country. I wanted to uplift the destinations. In order to do that, you gotta have a reliable transport.
But Joe, I gotta tell you, I have some friends, and like some have become entrepreneurs and successful. Like some have bought a franchise, some have started a restaurant or a small services company. But you're the first person I've ever met who said, "I started an airline." I mean, how does one start an airline? It seems like one of those things that are just totally impossible for a mortal to do, no? You have to be like Sir Richard Branson or something.
No.
How does one start an airline?
Okay,
Tell us, please.
Actually, first of all, you have to. I was being invited to several shows talking about this because at the beginning, what's your degree? They ask me, are you a captain?
Yeah,
Are you if I tell them, sometimes I'm so embarrassed. I'm a dentist. What?
There you go. It seems like, wow, from way out of left field, here comes this homer, huh?
Well, it started, believe me or not, it started as love. You know, it's a passion of love, falling in love with a Filipina person from Batanes. Then that pursued my dream. Say, there's a way of doing it. Travel agency is my first leg of the project, right? Understanding the cultures, understanding the product. Then I started chartering aircrafts. So you charter, you go to...
someone else owns the aircraft, but
Yes.
you've leased them.
Actually, in the beginning, I didn't lease or anything like that.
You just paid for...
I made a study for the market drive when it's going to go peak and off-peak.
And then you plan trips.
Yeah, I planned trips, and I started creating more volume in that area that I know the current supplier will have a problem supplying me the plane. So I would approach airlines and say, can I charter your plane? And they would say yes or no. At the beginning, it's really hard to charter planes knowing that they're going to ask me, where do you want to fly? I say Batanes, and they say, what? No, because it's going to be hard to fly there. So I actually basically approach all airlines. Then I just found one airline that supported my project. At the beginning, I chartered it for 2 months. And then after 2 months, I started thinking about how can I lower the cost of the charter flights because they're paying me.
Sure.
So I started developing aviation parts services.
What do you mean by that?
I started trading aircraft parts.
Okay.
So I buy parts, I sell parts for aircraft.
Ah.
So I started bidding for their suppliers because
Profitable business?
Profitable in the sense that the airlines should be able to make money out of the destinations. So they need to utilize that. But I only offer it because I wanted to lower down the cost of my operation. Sure. And then I was able to succeed in finding the good suppliers, and then I started saying, okay, how do you cut more of the expense? So I'm really supplying my own parts now. So I started developing my own mechanics. So I put them in school, getting rated. I went to CAAP. So
how long has this been since you first started doing all this? When did you officially start Skyjet?
I started Skyjet. I got the license November 2012, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, last year November.
The license, but I mean,
License.
when you start putting like leasing,
Leasing
chartering.
about 2010.
Okay, so fairly new, no? I mean,
Yeah, very new,
From the
very
time
new.
you started,
Yeah.
from its inception
Yeah.
till today,
Yeah.
it's a fairly new airline.
Yeah.
Now, how many jets do you guys? I mean, you use jets. No?
Yeah,
you don't have any turboprops.
No, we don't have turboprops because I believe that jet will be the ultimate transport for small runways and destination that normally tourists would not even go that short runways because they don't want to ride.
STOL. No?
Yeah,
Short takeoff
stalls,
and
yeah.
that.
And the other stall aircraft that we have are propellers.
Okay.
I have this, because the clientele that we usually carry are all tourists.
Yeah.
Usually in the ABC class market or even the CD market. But the part is, they always ask us, I don't want to ride a propeller.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to sell something. So by saying that, when I hear a customer saying that they don't like a propeller, then I'm actually putting a cap already. This is the maximum growth.
Yes, yes.
So you need to find some way to grow this market.
So how big is your fleet now?
We have only 2 aircraft right now, 2 jets. And my vision for Skyjet is not to operate a lot of routes. I want to be able to be comfortable doing 3 routes, maybe 2 or 3 years. I want to be able to control the product. When you say control the product, the safety standard should be very high. The quality of service is really high. And I want to know every passenger that comes in and out of my plane. I'd rather see that because my operational expense is not as high as the other operation.
Your overhead probably is a lot lower. Your manpower complement very low as well.
I was able to achieve utilizing the technology. Technology is really a nice
What do you mean by technology?
For example, selling tickets. the olden times, you have to have so many outlets
Yes.
to be able to get access. You have the internet now.
Now it's all. So you're saying your ticketing is mostly online.
Mostly
you're selling
online.
tickets. Yeah.
Mostly online, and we do most of our channels are done to other partners from travel agencies.
Yes. Yes.
So we downlines our sales to the travel agencies, and we actually practically easy to get access to the internet.
Yes.
You can do our account on Facebook is very active. Actually, it's so funny. Our Facebook account is our platform for selling. They ask us how many tickets here and how to get there. We also take care of the packages.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about your niche in the airline industry. I mean, obviously, you're a small player, and you don't go head-to-head with the big boys, Cebu
No.
Pacific, PAL, the kind of thing.
Well,
So where have you positioned SkyJet?
Well, I see myself as not a competitor to the bigger airline. Actually, if they would think about my vision, actually, I'm complementing the bigger airlines. Because when you put them all together in like Manila,
Yeah.
all the tourists need to go out of the islands. And in order for you to increase your volume in Manila, you need to disperse them in small islands. Now, if we don't have a well-developed islands, and we only choose Boracay, Palawan,
Yes.
You put already a ceiling in the Philippine market and tourism.
Yes.
Because you need to have repetitive tourists coming in and out.
Yes.
Now, if you can only showcase 5 or 6 or 7 destinations in the Philippines, and knowing that you have 7,107 islands, so there's more room to grow.
So SkyJet goes to the destinations that are off the beaten track.
Yeah, I call it unserved and underserved markets.
Unserved and underserved markets.
Yes.
Like, and principally, you're talking about
Missionary
Batanes.
routes or Batanes, or the destination that is commonly called as a commercial flight by locals, no tourism, no activity, no growth. Like Virac, I want to show them to rediscover Virac. Virac is a gateway to Caramoan,
Yes.
which Caramoan was actually famous because of the Survivor USA. And most of the destination we were experiencing now, we're enjoying, like Boracay, Palawan.
Yes.
Sad to say, those destinations was not discovered by Filipinos.
That's true. Even Boracay. I mean, I think the Germans in the 70s, early 70s, who first started going there. And I remember we had a German friend who would tell me, he's not very old, but he said that he first went to Boracay in the 70s. They had to camp in the
Yes.
beach. There was no accommodation, nothing.
Yes.
Everything was really back to nature.
Yeah, my first time I'm old now. My first time in Boracay was 1986. And it's a lot different than what it is now.
I'm sure. Overbuilt.
Yeah,
Well,
overbuilt.
That's one of the prices you have to pay when you bring in really a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how you guys are really trying to maintain the sustainability in places like Batanes.
Batanes,
Now,
yes.
so currently you guys fly to Batanes, to
Yes.
Virac,
Yes.
and then and you also fly to Palawan.
Yes, Palawan, Coron.
Coron.
Palawan.
So 3 destinations.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how are you able to manage all these destinations with 2 aircraft and just how does that work?
Okay, if you would notice, I guess you won't notice this. Per aircraft, one aircraft can actually supply you with 120 hours to 150 hours of operating time for the whole year. The whole year, whole month.
Mm-hmm.
You start with 120 hours to 200 hours, depending on how much, need that you have. But since we are flying only like Batanes, which only takes 70 minutes, and back, it's only 1 hour and a half.
So
and we
you make a return and then it goes
That's-
somewhere else.
more normally go somewhere else, but us, we just, since we don't fly to a lot of destinations, after that, the operation's done.
Yes.
In Virac, we fly to 45 minutes, and after that, it's done also. So what am I saying is that I have established first an airline that I can supply more flights, but don't want to operate too much destination. So I'm saying is underutilization.
Yes. Okay. So what happens now? I mean, okay, let's say more people want to go to Virac, or let's say more people want to go to Batanes. Let's say the big boys say, hey, this looks like a profitable route. I'll get into the action. How does it affect you?
Well, the thing with the competition it's always been there.
Yeah.
It's always been there. But there's a way of working with the competition. if the price for the competition would be really, really low, we position Skyjet not in the low-cost carrier design.
So you're not a,
We're
a
not-
budget carrier.
We're not a budget
airline.
carrier.
Okay.
We are what you call a boutique airline.
Okay.
Um,
Define boutique airline.
Boutique airline is like, it's a hybrid, they call it hybrid now. It's a full-service airline.
Okay.
So we serve snacks. We don't sell our seats. We sell, we don't have hidden charges.
Yeah.
So we plan out our operation, we execute it with high customer care and
Okay, let's go into that. That's interesting. High customer care, because in the opening video, you said your speech was to the people that flight, the maiden flight. You said you're not selling seats, you're selling experience. you know?
yes.
So what makes Skyjet, the Skyjet experience, different from, let's say, the Cebu Pax
All right.
experience or the PAL experience?
Well, when you ride with Skyjet, it's like an exciting part that you buy your ticket. From the time you check in, there's people around you. Skyjet people will guide you, carry your bags, assist you. Especially for old people, we really take care of them. Really take care
I
of
saw
them.
the video. I mean, there was
Yeah.
an old lady in a
And
wheelchair. And,
exactly. And I want to train my people. In every flight that I do, I'm always there. I watch my people,
Galing.
try to transfer what my passion would be to them.
Galing, galing.
I really talked a lot to my people.
Hands-on.
Yeah, really. And how you cannot build a company and grow fast if you don't know the foundation of what I really want to do.
Galing, galing.
Diba? So,
Why did you become a dentist in the first place? This is your calling. Your calling is management, huh? I mean, this is really essence of management, no?
well, I used to I used to manage clinics also, so the
Okay.
same. I think there's, to me, there's no difference between maybe, I don't know if the people would agree about having a management practice and a clinic. Actually, it's dealing with people. You gotta love your people around you.
That's what running a business is all about. Absolutely.
It's like the relationship with my people, like we're friends. They have to understand why I'm doing this.
And I know, very inspiring when they see the president and the CEO there every day, you know, hands-on and really, you
It
know,
was
to
funny.
talk
I
like
was
that.
just riding the plane and just come out from nowhere.
Grabe. Wow, no, very, very inspiring. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are wondering now, because we talk about a boutique, you know, all
Yeah.
this good service, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Is Skyjet expensive?
Well, this is the funny part. One of the blogs that I got from someone who wrote us, what's her name? I forgot her name. Anyway, some famous blogger. She even put there. Oh, sorry, it's Tessa Prieto pala.
Okay, well,
Okay.
a very famous personality.
Yeah,
all
because
right.
we didn't have time to market. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a tycoon. I'm just another person. I just work hard, save some money, and just try to see if it's gonna work. Now, running a business in terms of airlines, it's like you have to have a lot of money for marketing.
Yes.
Your billboards, you go like that.
I haven't seen any Skyjet billboards.
No.
What is your main advertising? You're
It's
below the
kinda-
line, no?
It's kind of weird, but it's the same as dental practice. It's referrals. If you like my flight, if you
Yes,
like my
yes.
practice,
Word of mouth, it goes.
Yeah.
And with social media, you know,
Yes.
Facebooking
Yeah,
and people
yeah.
post photos of Virac or Batan. How do you
Yes.
go there? Oh, Skyjet, and it viral, no?
Yeah.
In hours and minutes, it
because
goes.
if you do hard sell, it's better to let somebody tell the person who experienced our flight, hey, this is the safest flight. It's the best way. When you go in, aircon's cold, it's full blast, professionals. Those kind of things that I really like. Those are it's slow compared to billboards, TVs, and putting radio
Yes,
songs and all this. It's quite slow. But
Are you planning to go into that eventually
No,
when the airline
no.
becomes bigger? No. You really
No.
want to stick to this
I want to stick with
below
my
the
own-
line
yes.
guerrilla marketing.
Yes. Well, I don't know the goals of the other airline. My goal is not really, it's not about making a lot of money. It's just about enjoying.
What is your goal? What is your goal?
My goal is to develop those destinations one province at a time. When I say one province at a time, it will take a lifetime. If I can perfect and say, when you go to Virac, now it's a tourist spot. You talked about Virac, it's a tourist spot. Don't talk Virac as like a route. We have waterfalls. They have nice old churches. They have a very pristine beach. They have one of the best majestic. They call it Majestic Wave, which is the international community goes there, like the month of October.
Yes, yes.
They're all there. There's a competition.
Yes.
It's all foreign. It's all white sand beach. It was also named as if you Google it, It's the untapped mecca for tourism. It's untapped. It's untapped.
What's
the whole
holding
shoreline.
these places back?
I think for me
Yes.
is trying to introduce it to the market. Trying to explain, because look at this. If I put a company, a travel agency, I don't think they will listen to me.
Okay.
I won't even put a point here. I'm a travel agency. I want to sell Virac. I want to develop Virac. I want to help Virac.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the advocacy out.
Mm.
In short, I had to put an airline to people to hear me.
True. True. And then it's also a vehicle for you to bring
Exactly.
people there.
And-
Because, yeah, go.
And also because sometimes, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but sometimes the lawmakers would ask for budget to lengthen the runways
Mm.
because it can only accommodate small planes, propeller, because it's short.
Yeah.
I think it's about understanding the equipment.
Yes.
In Batanes, we have a very short runway too.
Yes.
But using the 146, BA 146, that's 4-jet engine, this 4-jet engine that I got from UK, it's built out of London City Airport, which is actually similar to the runway of Batanes. You have to find an equipment that is safe to use for short runways, and this is the right tool,
Yes.
and it's big.
So it really points out that to develop, like as you said, the Philippines, so much to see, so much, but unlocking this and bringing it to the public, making people come, you really have to, it's a total effort.
Total
Private
effort.
sector, tourism, infrastructure has to be developed,
Yes.
everything has to be in place, really.
Yes. One of my article that someone interviewed me, a journalist, it's called Shared Resources, tourism pooling together all the private sectors, the local government, and the locals itself.
Yes.
One of my articles says there to Secretary Jimenez saying, I am not the person, for example, I am not the person to say the criteria, who is the next province to be developed. But I'm sure, because of our budget, we don't have enough money to develop all the provinces. And all these provinces are knocking on the national government for funding.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is that if I start talking to the big players, like the people who brings tourists inside the Philippines,
Yes.
like travel agencies, group of organization, I look at the potential for the destinations. You want to look at the destination that can be easily be developed and rubbed off with the
Yes.
success story of Boracay. So if you would look for a destination, it has to have the market for the destination to be ready for occupancy. They should have quality service for activities for tourists, peace and order, infrastructure.
So it has to be, it all has to be in place.
Yes.
For the tourists. to
And
come.
then you develop one province at a time.
Yes. Joel, hold that thought because we have to
Yeah.
pause for a break. Guys, more of Skyjet and coming soon, Batanes, when Philippines Uncut returns. Stay tuned.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
are not selling seats, we are selling experience. So I hope you enjoy the flight and hope you support SkyJet's vision to convert all of destination that was not really developed yet as a tourist spot, and we developed it entirely new as a tourist destination. Thank you and welcome to SkyJet.
Mendoza. And so to kick off the program, let's introduce Dr. Mendoza. Joel, welcome to Philippines Uncut.
Well, thank you, and having invited here in your show, Philippine Cut, it's really an honor for me to be able to guest in your show and show and explain the advocacy of SkyJet and how we think that will uplift the lives of Filipinos in one province at a time.
But thank you so much for coming to the show. I know you're very busy. You're managing, you're running an airline. You're managing a dental practice with multiple branches and all these things. And I'm really happy that you're here because your story, everything about SkyJet, is so inspirational. And this is something I really want to share with viewers. It's a very uplifting story about how anything is possible when your heart is in the right place. No? So let's talk about your background. Tell us a bit about who is Dr. Joel Mendoza.
Well, I'm a simple person, like everyone else.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I am your host, Buddy Kunanan. On this show, we talk about everything under the sun. And on this show, we're talking about one of my favorite topics in advocacy, is tourism. And it's going to be a special discussion, folks, because tonight, we're going to introduce you to Batanes, that beautiful spot at the tip of the Philippines where most people, including myself, dream of going. And we're going to talk about SkyJet, the newest airline on the block, which is run and managed by its very dynamic, very inspiring, and very idealistic CEO and president, Dr. Joel.
Went to school, studied hard, saved money. Practically, I'm a dentist by profession. So
okay.
And I went to, at the early age, after I finished my graduate degree here in the Philippines, I've saved some money, and I ventured and went to the States, and I worked a little bit as a, like a dental apprentice, and then I got accepted to New York University. And I pursued my career as a oral surgeon, cosmetic. I stayed there for 7 years. And I decided to come back and start practicing, and maybe I can share my knowledge, my newfound knowledge, to the other dentists or the other students in the Philippines. But all this time, I was just working really hard. I had several clinics, very successful practice. I mean, I'm very lucky. But in love life, I was not lucky. So I was very